We gonna make it do what you like. Very special. Very special. You laughing at me, girl? We gonna make it do what you like. Very special. My brother MP4 Vids, Money Powell, the fourth in the building. Hey, Money, if you free, you want to jump on, Money? If you free, I would love to have you on, man. Kevin Hall, salute. The Architect One, salute. Patricia, salute. Emmanuel Momo, Khalid Mays, the LJ Fighter, Tay Brown, peace and blessings, Queen. X-Runner 211, salute. Don Morrell, X-Runner, where you been at, man? Mike Moss, salute. Don Morrell, salute. Where you been at? Real 6 SB90, salute. Johnny Bryan, salute. Patricia Harvey, salute. Salute to my peoples, man. Phil House Jones, Jewels of Life, Rob Cruz, Box Conversation, my brother Reggie Owens, salute Reggie. Jafari Caesar, Just a Student, salute. Knuckle Up Sports, salute. Robert Hill, salute. Just a Student, what's good? Salute to my peoples, man. Pardon me for having to jump off so sudden yesterday, but I had something to do, man. Anthony Simon, salute. Rodney Vincent, salute. Vincent, salute. Robert Hill, the fourth card, round 3, artistry, salute. Head Photo 9, salute. Vegan Protein Powder, salute. Billy Bosch, salute. Plat 59, salute. Best Pugilist 97, salute. Abby from VA. Abby from VA, salute. Yes, sir, Money. I'm sending it right now. Don't threaten me with a good time, my great brother. It's just boxing. Salute. Adrian McCoy, salute. It's done. It's done. Money is done. Jay Lee, Jules of Life, Kieran Alexis, Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Salute to my brother. He said in the super chat, he said, salute Blue Blood Sports TV and Curtis Anderson. The new year is here and let's push for great fights in 2020. Yes, sir. Soul Truth, salute. Millionaire Mindset, salute. Anthony Lumar, salute. Kieran Alexis, salute. Carlton Penn, salute. Yeah. S.TV, Larry Snow, Anthony Lumar, salute. Millionaire Mindset, Scant Rants, Bond South D-Town. What's shaking? Salute. Soul Truth, salute. What's peopleizations, man? We in the building. Support the channel, smash that like button, donate to the channel and show love, man. Support the channel, man. We're going to do big things, man. We got big things coming. Support the channel. Dane Watson, my brother, salute. What's good with you, man? Hey, Money, I sent the link, man. Get Kurt on. There you go. I don't know. Somebody's in there, though. My great brother, Kurt. Money Powell, what's going on with your money?
What's happening, man? What's going on, bro? How's everything?
Man, it's been too long, man.
Yeah, tell me about it now.
Great. Salute in the super chat. He says, salute Blue from San Antonio. Salute to San Antonio. Man. Yeah, Roy Babineau, salute. Kevin Childs, salute. Money, man, it's been forever.
Hey, it's Kurt coming in.
Yeah, he's
coming. Long training camp, man.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
Always on the move. Always on the move, Money.
I'm telling you.
David Scott the third, salute. Steve Mega.
About it. I'm like, man.
Yeah, it's been forever, Money. I said, man, I ain't get the brother on forever in the day. But how's everything going? How's Money doing?
Hey, he's doing well, man. Matter of fact, he's at the gym right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
As always, huh?
Hey, man, he's a gym rat. Stay ready. Stay ready. Stay hungry. Stay ready.
That's a great thing, man. That's a great mindset to have.
Oh, no doubt about it.
And that's what we want our champions. That's the mindset we want our champions to have.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because because
we try to tell him to take a break. He's like, I got to get right back in here.
Yeah, you know, and that's what we want, man. That's what we want out of the champions, because you know, unfortunately, look, we just saw Tank miss weight, and he moved up. You know, so
you coming in. I missed part of what you just said. Came in a little broken. I missed part of what you just said.
Hold on, let me get the speaker over here.
Okay.
1 second. Can you hear me better now?
Oh yes, most definitely.
You there, Money?
Yes, I'm here.
How about now, Money?
Oh, I got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was my speaker.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was saying, you know, it's a great mindset to have, especially in a young champion. You know, we need that. You know, the sport needs that dedication to the sport. The sport is already dangerous in itself. We need dedication to it. You know, I'm just not a big fan of guys ballooning up in weight in between fights. You know, that's so man. It's so dangerous. You know, you're already draining fluid from around the brain. Then you're gonna get in there, shock the body, rehydrating it, and then go in there and take blows to the head. That's not a good combination.
You can't say it any better than that. And that's one of the things that, you know, people have to take into consideration when you see some of these guys, they drop 25, 30 pounds, you know. To me, that's extremely dangerous. But I mean, it's up to them, you know, and their team and how they do it. But you run into the wrong person. You know something? They could probably cause a serious problem in your life like you've never known before. You just never know. That one ring walk that you take could potentially be your last.
Exactly. You know, so I love to hear when you say Money's in the gym, and he don't even what's tomorrow. He don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And that's a great mindset, man. That's a great mindset. Let me ask you this question, Money, because me and Kurt talked about this yesterday, and before you jump on, so before we get into the topic, but now I get a chance to ask you. I'm personally pushing for, should obviously Deontay Wilder has a huge fight in front of him. Should he get past this test in Tyson Fury and Joshua get past his test? Big advocate, and you're a historian in the sport of boxing as well, just like Kurt, and you go back further than I do in sport. So I just wanted to ask you, I personally want to see Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, the fight being in Africa. I think that would be.
Ooh, man.
So just let me know what your thoughts on that, and as far as the money and compare it to everything, just your history of, you know, obviously I know you know about Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, and just what it's like.
You know something, I never really thought about that fight being in Africa, and that would be awesome to see something like that again, to go back to Ali Foreman, you know. But wow, that would be powerful, man. As a matter of fact, I think I know that, you know, that AJ has roots in Nigeria, but I really think with Deontay Wilder going to Africa, he is going to be something beyond special, man. That will give him all of the psychological edges, even though he already has it already. I just think a little bit more, you know, going to, you know, to a wonderful place over in Africa, man. Man, that would be off the chain for real. That would be an excellent location. But it wouldn't surprise me if Eddie Hearn said, okay, we can do this, but we need big money, so to do it in Saudi again.
So that's my, and Miss Boxing, if you free, come on in here, get in here, Miss Boxing. I see you out there. Come on, get on in here. Yeah, Kurt. I mean, money. You know, how was it in your experience when Ali and George Foreman fought in Africa? How was that entire experience? What was the buzz like in your experience?
Let's see. I remember when they fought, and I was scared for Ali. I was scared for him because I saw what Foreman did to Ken Norton, who was one of my favorite fighters at the time with me, you know, just seeing boxing from the outside looking in, and how he just destroyed Joe Frazier. And I just hope that Ali could just box him well and get a decision. But when he knocked him out, I mean, that was something unforgettable. I mean, it was awesome. That was the talk of the town, man. I mean, it's just unforgettable. It was like, to me, it was like magical, if you ask me, because Ali, to me, you know, coming up as a kid, he was like Superman. You know, because you saw him on TV all the time. You saw him on Sesame Street, different, you know, like fun shows here and there. And, you know, to me, for him to defeat Foreman in the way that he did was just unforgettable. And with Deontay Wilder to go over there to Africa, I think he will literally flatten AJ. No matter how much AJ may try to box, he won't be able to get away from Wilder. He won't be able to do
it. And we know so much. We got Kurt. What's going on with you, Kurt?
Oh, Kurt.
Hey, Blue, man. What's good with you, man? What's good?
I'm good.
Kurt, what's up, man?
I'm doing better. We got money on today.
What's up, money, man? What's going on with you?
What's happening, player? What's going on now? How's everything for you, bro?
Oh, man, everything good. I can't complain, man. Just sitting here relaxing, man. I'm on the phone now, talking some boxing, man. I was watching some movies earlier, but everything is good, man.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Man.
Kurt, I was just asking Money his opinion and how he thought, you know, his experience, you know, as far as, you know, the Joshua Wilder fight possibly being in Africa, and you know, his experience with the Ali Foreman, you know, fight. And he said that he was scared for for Muhammad Ali because, you know, he said he watched George Foreman destroy Ken Norton. So a lot of his, you know, he was in fear for Muhammad Ali. You know, so I just wanted to get you guys' opinion and you know, just, like he said that, you know, he saw Ali was such a big icon. You know, he said Ali was on he remembered him being on Sesame Street and things of that nature. You know, so he reiterated what you were saying, how big of an icon Ali was, and you know how enormous and that fight would be.
No doubt.
You know,
I'm just gonna say this. You know, you can't put into words about the popularity of Muhammad Ali. You know, because if you didn't live in that time, you could never grasp how popular he was with the cartoon and the, you know, Doll and Dean Martin Rose. Dean Martin Rose was a show that you made fun of whoever was getting roasted, like Dean Martin, of course. And you had all the top comedians there, and Muhammad Ali, you know, was one of the few athletes that was there. And he was just so popular. He was all over television, man, and he was just everywhere. Remember, he talked somebody down off the ledge. They were going to kill themselves, and he talked them down. I believe it happened in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, he was just, he went over there, got the prisoners, and I mean, he became larger than life, man. You know, in the 70s, it was Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, Evel Knievel, my heroes, man. You know, had the posters on the wall. So, you know, if you thought Floyd Mayweather was popular, you highly mistaken. Ali that guy, man, and he was just unreal, man. And the Foreman fight, we didn't know he forget winning. We just thought we wanted to see him knocked out. You know, we knew he wasn't going to win, but we just wanted him to survive. And not only he wound up winning, but knocking George out. So he went to another level where he made grown men cry sitting in the movie theaters doing closed circuit TV. I mean, people was going crazy. It was a riot. It was mass hysteria. People were chanting his name. That's how big he was. He transcended generations.
And see, that's what I want to witness in today's time. I want to relive it. Why not? Why not? I feel like in today's time with social media, this is our version. And we know as the heavyweight division goes, the sport of boxing, so goes the sport of boxing. That fight will be enormous, and we're going to get a part two.
Like one second, Blue.
Mm-hmm.
One second. Because somebody said I sound bad. Can you hear me clearly? Chat, can you hear me clearly?
Can you guys
Microphone check 1, 2.
Y'all can hear Kurt? Can y'all hear Kurt?
So SHOWDOWN said, yeah, because Jules and Light said I didn't sound well. So I had to make some adjustments. So I hope, okay, they're saying, yeah. So thanks a lot, chat. Go ahead, Blue.
So you know, I just want to you know, let's get a part two. Yeah, they say you good, Kurt. They say you good. I just want to get a part two of it. You know, why do the same thing? It's going to be a rematch because unlike Ali and the Foreman fight, Ali wasn't in his prime. He wasn't in his prime. In this fight, both guys are in their prime. So we're going to get a part two, no doubt about it. Unless Wilder happens to knock Joshua out and Joshua just chooses to call it quits, we're gonna get a part two. And the part two, it won't be in Africa. It won't be in Africa, that's for sure. So it would be in a different place. Somebody said that Michael Simmons said, "Hey Blue, you see Whyte about to fight David Price? Unbelievable." See, this is thank you, Michael Simmons, because I didn't see that. But like, this is what I say when people they go ahead and they have so much to say about Deontay Wilder, and you get so many people following what Dillian Whyte is saying. This dude is going to fight in David Price. So let's just look at this, fellas. The people Dillian Whyte had on his list to fight in his comeback in another fight, it's supposed to be in the end of March. And it possibly could be on the undercard of Joshua fight again. But let's just look at the list of people, opponents he had to choose from. But yet he'll tell anybody that listen that Deontay Wilder's ducking him. Right? Craig J, salute. Harold Jones, Woolbag. Wayne Jr., salute. Young World, salute. Pugilist Noble fan, salute. This was his list of fighters. My son in the building, John Arsenegas. What's up, baby boy? His list of fighters. Alexander Povetkin just fought to a draw with Michael Hunter and he was on the verge of getting stopped at least 3 times in that fight. Looked like he was about to get stopped, about to get knocked out. It ended in a draw. Andy Ruiz Jr., who lost almost every single round except for maybe 1, 2 if you're pushing it against Anthony Joshua, came in nearly 300 pounds. To only go into the boxing ring twice a week in the biggest fight of his life. The biggest fight of his life, he admitted that he only went to the gym at least twice a week was the most he went to the gym. He said he partied and spent money. Came in nearly 300 pounds. The other person on his list was Emmanuel Charr. Need I say more? There's no need to even go deeper in that with Emmanuel Charr, right? And then now David Price. David, like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
David Price will get folded up like laundry. The moment that he gets hit, it's all over, man. He has a chin, my brother. He has a chin.
You still there, Money?
Chin. I mean, it's like, you've got to be kidding me. David Price? Whoa.
David Price. And let's not forget, and we got the Queen, Miss Boxing is on in the building. Kurt, Money, she finally, you know, stopped playing hooky on us.
Miss Boxing, what's happening? How's everything for you?
Hi, what's going on?
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. All right.
How y'all doing?
It's all good. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Right. All right.
So David Price, right? Didn't he just get knocked out by Derek Chisora?
Yes.
Yep.
So look at the list of fighters he has, but he's making all teams about Deontay Wilder. If this don't tell the people and the fans that he's just there to try and be a roadblock for Anthony Joshua, try to upend Deontay Wilder so it prevents the Joshua fight, right? David Price, who just got knocked out in dramatic fashion against Derek Chisora, that a guy that you just beat and knocked out. Alexander Povetkin out in his last fight against a guy who was a cruiserweight and is relatively unproven at the heavyweight division. And his biggest fight, cruiserweight, he lost to Alexander Usyk and Michael. Right. Who came in nearly 300 pounds, admitted to only going to the gym twice a week in the biggest fight of his career and his life.
That pissed me off. Man.
Right. He chose to be so undisciplined that he went to the gym nearly only twice a week, and his trainer was begging him to come to the gym. And he admitted to partying, spending money, and not going to the gym. And these are the guys, and anybody that listens, Dillian Whyte will tell you that Deontay Wilder's ducking him, and it has the audacity to put up on his social media that anybody can get it because he's the can man. Amazing. And then he goes on to say Luis Ortiz is not marketable because he don't speak English. He goes on to say Luis is old and unproven. I'm lost for words. I can't even and so now David Price and then Emmanuel Charr was the other option.
Yeah, but he said Ortiz is old, but he fought Marius Watt, who was 40 years old.
Right. And willing to fight Povetkin, who's 40 years old. I mean, nobody he's looking to fight is coming off a win. Miss Boxing, what you think about that?
Look, I'm at a loss for words too. None of it makes sense. You know, I'm sure they're all just. I mean, I think everybody's really afraid to get knocked out by him. They just are. There's no other explanation for it. I don't know. It's just, man, I don't know what to say. I wish the sport was governed in a way where we wouldn't have to fuss and fight about this stuff. You know, I wish it was monopolized so we could just get the best fighting the best, because I mean, it's never gonna happen. Everybody's running from him. I don't know. I'm like you. I'm at a loss for words.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Money, what you think about that, Money?
Okay, I think you need to get some either meth heads or crack heads that know nothing about Deontay Wilder in order to step into the ring with them. They got nothing to lose, and they're going to give everything they have, knowing that they're going to get their hit later on down the line. Reality. Look, don't be afraid to give it a shot, man. Don't be afraid. That it's like, okay, you want to try to avoid not looking so bad as a meme, you know, something like that. I think, that Ms. Boxing has it right. I wish they had a thing where you're like locked in this tournament and you have to fight or you're going to be restricted. You know, they're going to put some locks on you in certain kind of ways. But when you have all of these different personalities as promoters who are controlling all of this stuff, it's just not going to happen. Unless they actually get off into a World Boxing Super Series tournament, we are not going to see the best fighting the best. Or not as often as we would like to see. That's what I like about the World Boxing. Relationship with yourself. There's no opting out. You have to fight who you're going to be in there with next. And everyone has the chance to win. That's just my opinion. I wish all the best for Deontay, but a lot of guys, they're going to clout chase him. They're going to talk a lot of noise. But when it comes to getting in there, I applaud the ones who did step up. That's all I can tell you.
Go ahead, Kurt.
You know, well, with Joshua losing his title already, I mean, he got it back almost by default because Ruiz was in such bad shape. He was saying in boxing, when you out of shape physically, you're out of shape mentally, which is more important. You know, and I'm going to go as far as say Ruiz knew he wasn't going to win that rematch because you know that he kept the shirt on right up until, you know, he was in the ring, you know, and he was trying to hide, you know, the embarrassment that, and he let down his country, man, not by the way he lost, the way he was so unprepared, man. And every time I knew something was up, every time I seen him, he was standing next to a Rolls Royce, like he was, like it was Jay-Z Hard Knock Life album cover, and pizza in New York and going to the Mexican restaurant in California. So I knew something was up, man. And people be like, he lost all his weight, then he gained it. That's never a good thing. When a fighter got to worry about his weight instead of strategy, it's not going to turn out well. And with Johnson's title, getting his title back thanks to Ruiz, he's going to be very, very careful who he selects as his opponent, man, because once he loses again, he's not going to get it back because it's not going to be like he's fighting Ruiz. Like guy out of shape, you know.
Not Joshua, Dillian Whyte.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. Damn. I'm sorry. Well, you know, Dillian Whyte, man, I don't know what I'm thinking about Joshua. Dillian Whyte is cherry picking his opponents. You know, he doesn't want nothing to do with Luis Ortiz. Like I said, Luis Ortiz is older. We don't really know how old he is. And he says he's old, but yet he fought Marius Rock. So he wants to fight people he thinks he can beat, you know. So he's going to stand clear of Ortiz or any dangerous heavyweight out there. And he wants to fight Wilder, but he wants a shortcut to the title. I mean, I don't know, he's a mandatory, but he's going to keep picking these guys who he think he can knock out. He looked terrible, you know, his last fight. You know, he came in at 270 plus. You know, not in the best of shape. You know, heavyweight has a tendency to be very sloppy. You know, so they fight David Price, shame on him because David Price, you can blow on his chin and he'll get knocked out. You know, so and then he's talking about the other heavyweight. You know, I want to see him fight somebody good. I'm tired of these heavyweights picking easy fights. You know, so Dillian Whyte. You know, we'll keep my eye on him and see what's going on in the near future, man. But, you know, I'm not that high on Dillian Whyte anyway, man. He talks a lot, but he doesn't do anything to back it up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he putting up all these memes, and salute to Christopher Jeanette in the super chat. He said, really money with the laughing emojis. But, you know, the thing is with Dillian Whyte, he putting up all these memes regarding Wilder and Wilder's ducking him and all of these different scenarios, right? That Wilder's ducking him is the biggest ducker. And it's amazing. And everybody you look in a fight is coming off a loss. And every time you step up in competition, you get dropped or losing a fight. Both the fights with Derek Chisora, I thought he was losing. I thought he lost the first fight with Derek Chisora. The second fight he was losing, but he knocked Derek Chisora out, so you got to give him credit.
Right.
The fight with Oscar Rivas, he got dropped. And that's where all the controversy came in. And now you fought Maurice Whyte, and you looked absolutely horrible. And another Dillian Whyte is this, right? He said that because he had all of the issues outside of the ring after the Oscar Rivas fight, right? All of the stuff with the failed test, allegedly, right? Wouldn't that be motivation to stay in the gym, to get in shape, to prove everybody wrong? You come in a fight after that and look absolutely, you come in at 270 plus pounds and look absolutely horrible against Maurice Whyte. You should be embarrassed of yourself.
Right.
It's like I said, Dillian Whyte at this point in time is making a mockery of his career. You are becoming a roadblock, one of those, speed bumps for Anthony Joshua to slow Deontay Wilder down. It's like a horror movie when you're running, you're running from whatever's chasing you, and you're just throwing stuff behind you to slow him down. And Dillian Whyte is one of those objects that you just throw down behind him. It's just threw down behind him to try to slow Deontay Wilder down. You know what I mean? It's amazing. It's amazing, man. I can't wait. And this is a fight I know personally Deontay Wilder wants this fight. This is a fight that he wants. Salute to my brother Ty King alive in the super chat. He said, Blue, are your phone line live tonight? No, man, I still ain't fixed that speaker, bro. I know, man. I haven't still ain't fixed that speaker for your
Hey, Blue.
Go ahead, Money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, I remember when Anthony Joshua knocked him out via Dillian Whyte. You remember when Dillian went down, he looked like a lifeless individual for a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's gonna look worse than that.
Yeah.
His left hook will not save him. That's his money punch, true enough. He'll if Wilder decides to go against him. And I don't think that Dillian Whyte deserves it, but I want to see him get flattened. I want to see him stretched. Mm-hmm. Like when you put that little heavy weight on the bacon on the frying pan. I want to see him stretched.
Hey, and Money, when you say he don't deserve it, but he do deserve it.
Yeah.
Right? He don't deserve the fight, but he deserves what he get coming to him. So
yes, sir.
And that's a good thing. I want to ask y'all how y'all see a fight with him. How y'all see the fight with him and Wilder playing out? Ms. Boxer, tell us that.
It'll probably be like a Stavern 2 or Brazil. It'll be quick because it's pretty much personal now. So I think it'll be real quick. There's no fear. Deontay Wilder does not have a worry in the world about him. He's probably just gonna go for it, and that's it. It'll be over quick.
I know it for a fact. This is a fight that he man, I know it for a fact, man. He told me. He said, Blue, don't worry, brother. I got this. That's exactly what he told me. What you think, Kurt? How you think it play out?
I think Wilder gets rid of him in about 4 or 5 rounds. Unless he sees the opening like he did Brazil, he was wide open, because Wilder is the kind of puncher he is usually a fast starter, and not saying he's a slow starter, but he's patient. And it may take 3 or 4 rounds, and because everybody, they know the right hand is coming, they just don't know when. And that's what Wilder's patient, and he throws a different right hand. People don't talk about that. And he's very savvy with it. So I'll say about 5 or 6 rounds he'll get right out of here. Because once Wilder starts jabbing, it makes it harder for you to defend the right hand, because he can blind you with the jab and then come behind it with the straight right down the middle. So I think Wilder is a terrible matchup for Dillian Whyte.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, I keep knocking over this. At this point, You know, he talked his way into it. Proud of him. He talked his way into two big fights, right? And he's gonna get knocked out in both those fights. He talked his way into that Joshua fight. I don't know if y'all remember how much he was talking leading into that Joshua fight. Remember that? Joshua was the biggest phony he ever seen in his life. And remember, he talked his way into, remember the face-off? He talked his way right into that fight, right? And got knocked out. And now he done talked his way into this fight. Well, the way I look at it is like this. He got his 2 retirement checks coming. That's it. You know, it's amazing to me, this guy, man. And the thing is, it just goes to show how much disdain and that Deontay Wilder has garnered. Because I looked at the post when Dillian Whyte put it up. It's like 300,000 people and they just cheering him on. They just cheering him on. Yeah, Wilder ducking you. It's like, man, the boxing fans, they what Bob Arum said, sometimes we could be like rocks, you could kick them in any direction. You know, they just want to be there to defend, and they're not Dillian Whyte fans. And Dillian Whyte is trying to, he's pretending as if these are his fans. They're not his fans. These are Anthony Joshua fans that will do anything and want to see anybody slow Deontay Wilder down. They want to see him. They want to see the train slow down. They believe that Dillian Whyte could be, one of the pieces to the emergency brake system on the train.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's like it's outrageous at this point. Like it doesn't matter. He is not gonna be. Ty King and Lie said we missed the super chat. No, I hit. Oh yeah, we sure did. Salute to Ty King and Lie in the super chat. He said, "Come on, son." Yeah, it's just. Listen, man. This is why I want this fight to happen, and he has space. See, so this is why I want this. I want this fight with Tyson Fury. See, this is my scenario because I already know the way Joshua upcoming fights and his career for the next year in 2020 is mapped out. He's gonna vacate the WBO. Gonna get Derek Chisora versus Alexander Usyk, or Alexander Usyk versus Joseph Parker for the vacant WBO belt. The 3 of those guys are still under Matchroom and DAZN banner. Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, and Alexander Usyk. So that way the WBO belt stays in-house. The IBF belt is with Kubrat Pulev is the mandatory, and that's a top rank. So you might as well go ahead and satisfy that belt and then go fight the winner of those 3 guys. More than likely, Eddie Hearn wanted to be Derek Chisora, and I wanted to be Derek Chisora too, because I believe Derek Chisora is going to show up. I don't believe Joseph Parker is going to show up against Alexander Usyk. I don't believe so. Nothing he's done in his career tells me that he's going to come in to give it his all. I just don't see it. So in that, when it looks at so Deontay Wilder defeats Tyson Fury by knockout. I don't think he will go into an immediate trilogy match, but either which way, he should be available for Anthony Joshua at the end of the year. But with that said, Deontay Wilder knocks out Tyson Fury, and then he's free. There's really nobody else on the agenda but Dillian Whyte. I know he's the mandatory for 2021, but I want Deontay Wilder. Since Anthony Joshua is going to be tied up, because I want the Joshua fight with Wilder to be for undisputed. I don't want it to be for nothing less than undisputed. I want it to be for undisputed. We've been waiting all this time for him to get undisputed. I don't want to see him fight for nothing less than undisputed. So if Joshua has to vacate the WBO belt, let him go gain back that other belt. And another thing is, another reason, a clear indicator that they're going to vacate the WBO is because they don't want to vacate the IBF, because if they vacate the IBF and Kubrat Pulev lands the IBF belt, it's a huge chance that Deontay Wilder will fight Kubrat and unify, because he's already done business with Top Rank and Bob Arum for Tyson Fury. So that means Bob Arum will be putting another heavyweight in another huge fight. So he have Tyson Fury in the fight with Wilder. And then if Kubrat Pulev, if he vacates the IBF, Kubrat Pulev fights somebody, we know it's going to be a light touch. He's not going to fight nobody that's going to be a 50-50 fight for him. It's going to be a fight where it's a winnable fight for him. Nearly a surefire win for Kubrat Pulev. So he gets that belt, that IBF, and then he takes the fight because he's already old. He's already 37, I believe, himself. 37, 38, Kubrat Pulev. So he takes the fight, wins that vacant fight. Now he has a belt, and then he goes on to fight Deontay Wilder as a strong possibility. And then that means Deontay Wilder is going to beat Kubrat Pulev. Then he'll be unified. Now he'll have the WBC and the IBF belt. He'll have the most prestige belt in the sport of boxing, the WBC belt, and then he'll have the IBF as well, right? And that means that then the PBC will have two unified champions on their side, both with the same titles. Errol Spence having the IBF and the WBC, then Deontay Wilder having the IBF and the WBC. Then when Deontay Wilder go to negotiations with Anthony Joshua, it's a whole different ball game, isn't it?
That's true.
Scales could be tipped in Deontay Wilder's favor. And so I highly doubt that Eddie Hearn, I'm sure that they're paying attention to that. And because Kubrat Pulev at that point in time, remember, if they vacate the IBF, I'm almost certain at that point when Pulev fights for the vacant IBF, we got to think about it, right? At that point in time, he's going to not want to do business with Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua. He would rather do business at that point with Deontay Wilder because that would be the third time that they stiffed him. That would be the third time. That would be 3 times that they stiffed him. Remember, he went in negotiations twice and they stiffed him out. This would be the third time. So he would much rather do business with Deontay Wilder for a unification bout, a huge bout, and it would be in the States, and it might be at the Barclays Center or in Vegas or something like that, right? And then Wilder gets that belt because I'm sure it'll be some sort of agreement that if Wilder wins against Pulev, he gets an opportunity. That trilogy fight with Tyson Fury will be for a unification bout again. And that's Bob Arum's fighter once again. So that would be, too tough of a task. That would just be too much for Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to let go. So it's pretty clear the route that they would take. But saying that to say, if that's the route, if all goes the first way I said, then I want that means Deontay Wilder, after he beats Tyson Fury, go ahead and get rid of Dillian Whyte, knock him out, because that means Joshua is going to have 2 fights already sewn up. He's going to fight late March, early April, and he's probably going to fight in the summertime. So that he already have 2 fights locked up. It might be in September. So he's going to have 2 fights already tied up. So now that leaves Deontay Wilder in February, because we only how many weeks away? And this is the first week in January, February 22nd. We're only a few weeks away.
Like about
4
about
weeks.
about 7 weeks away, maybe.
Oh yeah, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, he got all the time in the world after that February 22nd date. And I'm sure he's not going to want to go into an immediate rematch with Tyson Fury in a trilogy fight, because now you're talking about he would have fought the same opponent 5 times in his last 5 fights. That I can't see him doing that. That'll get stale for him, because we talking Fury, Ortiz, and I mean Fury. It was Ortiz, Fury, then Ortiz. No, he fought Dominic Brazil, but still, he fought Ortiz twice, and then Tyson Fury. 5 out of his last 6 fights would be the same person. I think that he would, let's get Dillian Whyte on in here. You the runner up. Let's go. What you think, Miss Boxing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think so too. And depending on how the fight goes with Tyson Fury, I don't think he needs to wait 6 months to fight. I think he could fight 3 times next year. I mean, this year. Yeah, 2020. I think he could fight 3 times in 2020. I don't see why not. Because Deontay Wilder, he never really, he never really gets punished. He never really gets hit too much. I mean, he doesn't sustain a lot a lot of punishment in his fight. So I definitely would love to see Dillian Whyte, maybe 3-4 months after Tyson Fury, and then maybe at the end of the year, who knows? But yeah, I think I definitely like to see it.
Yeah, because I got it all mapped out. I think he's fighting in February 22nd. He could fight again in September, August, because he usually fights early in the year and then in the summer. So in the spring and summer. So he's fighting February 22nd, fight again August, then that leaves December. He just fought in December right now. They both fought nearly December. He fought November 23rd, and then Anthony Joshua fought December 7th. So listen, they could get it on in December. Second week in December, again, for Undisputed. For the holidays. Close out the year with Undisputed. What you think, Money?
That sounds like a pretty solid plan. That will probably work well, but I wanted to go back to a point you stated a while back about Derek Chisora versus Usyk. I know Usyk will win, but he's not going to come. I think Derek Chisora has a history of eating southpaws up.
Mm-hmm.
He does. Now, will he show up just like you said? Now Derek Chisora shows up. Usyk just may have the wake-up call of his life. Even if he wins, he's going to have some scratches on him if Derek Chisora shows up. All right, but about Wilder, yeah, to go in there, take care of Tyson Fury, true enough. I tell you what, and just get everyone's mouth watering with what's his name in the middle, somewhere off in like
Dillian Whyte.
June. Dillian Whyte, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
With Dillian Whyte, and then afterwards, towards the end of the year, sure, to be able to go down and be able to fight Anthony Joshua. But with Anthony Joshua, it's almost like when you're looking at something in a glass and you see like a little speck and you try to grab for it and it slips. It just so happens to escape you. That's how I see AJ in a situation like that with Eddie Hearn. I don't think that he's going to allow it to be that easy. I just don't. It's like, no, we got to make some more money. And also, if he can have another couple of fights, potentially anyway, over in Saudi, because they don't really slam you on taxes over there. So don't be surprised if they try to, have the fight over in Saudi Arabia either. Even if they did come down and say, sure, I'll do it. But it probably would be across the water. I would like for it to be here at home, but I know that's not going to happen. So to be more realistic, somewhere across in a neutral area, because it's not going to happen in the UK either. And besides, I wouldn't want to see Deontay Wilder get slammed with 20% of taxes of his pay when it comes to the Queensberry rules. When you have the promoter's license. And for those that don't know, thank goodness for promoters over in the UK, because if you didn't have a promoter, you would be subject to the Queen's rules, which means they get 50% of your paycheck in taxes right off the bat. So just a thought, that's all. But they take 20% just in general. But yeah, I want to see Deontay right now just focusing on him, taking care of business with Mr. Gypsy King, and to take his crown from him. Take the Gypsy's crown from him. That's what I want to see him do. And go ahead and move on to bigger and better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And my thing is this: Kurt, go ahead, you cook, and then I'll finish.
Well, Deontay Wilder has opponents, man. Skillful boxing, they have Fury, and Dillian Whyte would be a grudge match, and Joshua would be the biggest fight in boxing. Things never go according to plan, though. So Deontay, just concentrate on Wilder. Let's get him out the way, because it's hard to fight 3 times on pay-per-view, because let's face it, Deontay Wilder is a pay-per-view fighter. Strictly pay-per-view fighter, even though he fought on network TV, but still, in Showtime, I should say. But, Fury's going to be pay-per-view, of course. Joshua definitely pay-per-view. Dillian Whyte pay-per-view, which is good for Wilder individually. So when just think of the biggest fighters, Floyd fought 2 times a year with the pay-per-view, the way it's set up. So Canelo, so it's going to be hard for a fighter that's going to demand so much money to fight 3 times a year. More than likely, it's going to be 2 times a year. That's just how pay-per-view, is. It's, I don't care how popular you are because, even though you're going to make money and they'll see a profit, but 3 times a year, probably a bit of a stretch. If it happens, good for us, but more than likely too. Concentrate on Fury February 22nd because while the loses, everything goes kaput. So get Fury out the way and then fight Dillian Whyte because more than likely they might try to split up those titles, man. They're going to try to get Usyk the WBO title, but Chisora, as he if Chisora's fight for that vacant title, he could beat Usyk if he come to show up. Chisora is strong, man, and he got good punching power. Look what he did to Stoker, but I don't think Usyk is all that. They're trying to make him out to be, another Gene Tunney, but he's not that. He's not that. So don't be surprised if we split the titles up. I don't want to see that because my ultimate goal would to see Wilder and Joshua for all the titles, man. Ain't nothing better than boxing than having 2 heavyweight champions and they fight for all the marbles, man. That's a dream right there. So, let Wilder concentrate on Fury, which is it's going to be a huge fight, man. So after that, then we can come back and talk about Wilder's future plans.
Yes. See, my thing is this, right? And I agree with you, Kurt. He definitely got a one fight at a time, especially with Tyson starting with Tyson Fury. Once you get past Tyson Fury, then and see, this is what I think about it, Kurt. About it being, the pay-per-view. Because see, Wilder don't mind giving the fans a free fight. Meaning a non-pay-per-view fight. So because this is how I look at it. If he beats Fury, right, he goes on and fight Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is going to be his mandatory. So maybe the WBC, he beats Dillian Whyte, but the Dillian Whyte fight is going to be here in the States. Dillian Whyte has no leg to stand on in negotiations. He's going to have to either, abide by what Deontay Wilder wants. He's going to have to submit to it, or you don't get no fight, and then you make yourself look even worse than you already are. So, and Wilder, and this is my thing, because this Tyson Fury fight is so big, right? This is a pay-per-view event, and now you go on the Dillian Whyte fight. It's going to be in the States. Wilder can say, listen, let's put it on in Brooklyn. Let's do it. That's his annual middle fight for non-pay-per-view event. Dillian Whyte at Barclays Center, because Dillian Whyte can't demand the fight to be nowhere. It can't be in the UK. He's not gonna get the lion's share of the money. He gonna have to take whatever he could get. And see, when you offered the fight, now you either take it or leave it. And so that puts Deontay in the best position possible because, and this is how I look at it, he don't have to worry about overpaying Dillian Whyte. You see what I'm saying? So he don't have to worry about it being pay-per-view because his opponent, he gonna get the lion's share of the money anyway. He could make that fight 70-30 at the Barclays Center, non-pay-per-view. He getting so much money on the back end and so much money, in the negotiations that he don't have to worry about it being a pay-per-view event. And then on top of that, now you go in. Now you essentially, right? Essentially, you're accomplishing 2 different things, right? By taking the Dillian Whyte fight and the way you're doing it. Now you've done business. If you Deontay Wilder, now you have done business with Eddie Hearn as well, and you got a fight done with Dillian Whyte. So now, following that, you get the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, and now it's going to be on pay-per-view. And now everything that you didn't collect in the Dillian Whyte fight being non-pay-per-view, but you still got the lion's share of the money because You are the clear A side. No, there's no arguments. There's no 50-50 splits. There's no arguments over where the fight is going to take place. Nothing. He's going in negotiations, just basically laying it out for Dillian Whyte. You should just be happy to be here. Simple and plain. So Dillian Whyte, you take it or leave it. You come to the Barclays Center. He said, now he came out, he said he wanted to fight in the States. Come to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. That's a Brooklyn fight. That's a Barclays fight. Come to the Barclays Center. Your first time in the States. It's not going to be on pay-per-view, but I'm taking 70-30. You getting 30. You're getting your shot at the title now. You're getting your opportunity to title. This is what you said you want. I'm the clear A side, especially after he defeats Tyson Fury. So now my resume is clearly better than Anthony Joshua's. You see. So now I'm telling you, let's have this fight now in Brooklyn. It's going to be on free TV, and I could afford to put it on free TV because I already had a huge pay-per-view fight in my rear view mirror. I already got one in my rear view being the Fury fight. I'm taking the lion's share then of the negotiations of this money in this fight. And then I'm in my headlights, I got the biggest fight of the sport of boxing currently right now. So I'm going to make my money back. So, and I'm done, and I'm doing business with Eddie Hearn. So there's no way Eddie Hearn, there's nothing else Eddie Hearn and Anthony, there's nowhere to hide. So essentially it's lifting up the rock so we can see Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua from underneath it. They ain't got nowhere else to go. We shine the light on them. Because now I done defeated your boy Dillian Whyte, got him out the way. I done got Tyson Fury out the way. And I did business with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and it ain't gonna be on the zone, but I did business with them. So now what's the problem with this is Joshua fight? You putting all the pressure on him. And now he's on the UK tour. You know how in basketball, the NBA, they go on the Triangle tour, the Texas tour, right? Deontay Wilder's 2020 tour could be just go ahead and running through the UK top fighters. It would be Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, and Anthony Joshua, all in 1 year. The three best fighters out the UK. The three best fighters out the UK, he would have gotten all of them out the way in 1 year. In 1 year. And then going in, that's clearly going to make him the fight of the year for 2020, hands down, right? He's going to make tons of money. His sponsorship going to go through the roof. And then he's probably going to be looking at a trilogy match with Tyson Fury in 2021. And he's going into that fight into 2021 undisputed. So he's going to have either a rematch with Joshua on the horizon in 2021 or a trilogy match with Tyson Fury in 2021. But at that point in time, hands down, the face of the sport of boxing. Because everybody else after that is consolation prizes. They just the cherry on top. It's over. It's checkmate. It's over at that point in time. And he made his money. So now, from there on out, Kurt, in 2021, fight 2 times a year, and it's only on pay-per-view. You gave the fans the Dominic Brazil fight. And that's another thing. He gave us all his rivalry fights that were personal. He gave us those rivalry fights that were personal on free TV. So he could say, I gave you the Dillian Whyte fight on free TV. I gave you the Dominic Brazil fight on free TV. Now the mega fights, come see your boy. You got to come support me. And it's valid. It's validated. You see what I'm saying? So what you think about that, Ms. Boxer?
Yeah, I think as far as Deontay Wilder, excuse me, he's like, and the reason why I like him so much is he's so fair to the fans. He is completely fair to the fans. And what bothers me, and I hate to say this, I hate to bring this up, but I'm going to say it because it's been bothering me. And I said a year ago that I was afraid of this. We all know Deontay Wilder has to knock Tyson Fury out. He has to. It just is what it is. If something happened and he doesn't, and Tyson Fury wins that fight, do you know that Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua will probably be the easiest fight to make? And all that work and all that bullshit that Deontay Wilder has been going through the past couple years is like all for nothing. And that just irks me so bad. And I think about it a lot. And I'm like, he has to knock him out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. He definitely, you know, I definitely believe he have to knock Tyson Fury because another thing is Tyson Fury played up to the and his fans and everybody that backed him and all the Deontay Wilder detractors, they played up to this whole he didn't get a fair shake. So, you know, it's kind of similar to the Jamel Charlo Tony Harrison fight, you know, not in the same manner because clearly, you know, I thought Jamel Charlo won the first fight, but you know, with Jamel Charlo, you know, everybody was saying, what was the referees look, you know, what was the judges watching? They missed a good fight, you know. So Tyson Fury is playing to that. It's because he knows he has to stay away from the right hand by any means necessary. And so, you know, he's claiming that he's going to come forward in this fight. But he knows he needs those three guys sitting ringside. That's his best opportunity to beat Deontay Wilder. Those three guys surviving and getting those three guys by ringside on his side. But what you think, Money?
Well said, because depending on who wins the bid for this fight, you know, between the PPC or ESPN, I think the PPC is probably going to win out. But yeah, Fury's whole thing is to stay away from the right hand, you know, land some occasional jabs from here and there. And I agree with Miss Boxing. You know, he has to knock Tyson Fury out. I mean, he has to lay him out. Because if he doesn't, there is a potential chance, you just never know, that those judges may lean in Fury's favor. And if that happens, oh, man, that is a major setback in boxing. It is. It really is. It's almost like you saw the one who was really worthy and deserving, you saw him get frozen out. That's the way I see it. You know, it's like, man, are you really serious? You know, so when he fights him, I'm not blinking because I want him to knock Fury out. He has to knock him out. I'm in complete agreement with Miss Boxing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like you know, like you said, man, I just wanted to touch on that real quick before I let Kurt cook. Is
Okay.
if he happened to lose, which I doubt, but if he just happened to, could you imagine how they're gonna freeze him out? Now have to fight you?
Oh, man.
Definitely. That's exactly what they're gonna do.
Yeah. I don't have to fight you? Oh man, forget it. And then people going to justify it by saying, "Well, it's not worth the risk." So we know how that's going to play out.
But they're going to cover it up. They're going to cover it up by saying, instead of saying it's not worth the risk, yeah, they'll say that behind closed doors, but they'll say, "Oh, he lost."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, how can you say that when AJ lost? And he lost by stoppage. He was put on the canvas 4 times, but none of that matters, though.
Mm-hmm.
None of it matters because it was never meant for Deontay Wilder to get to the point where he is right now. It's like we can't overlook him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working. So we hope that he loses. They're on their hope insurance that he loses.
Yep. Go ahead, Kurt.
Oh.
Now you want to finish, man?
Yeah, I'm finished. I'm finished, man. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, you know, I mean, to me, Wilder's in the captain's seat because he has the opponents. You know, he's gonna make a lot of money. You know, he's in the history books. You know, one of the hardest hitting heavyweights ever to step inside the ring. You know, he's title defenses. He's slowly etching his way up in the history books. You know, so every fight is a must-win from here on in because the stakes is too high for him to lose. You know, so he's going to come in shape mentally and physically. You know, he's going to give it his all. You know, it's hard to go undefeated. It's hard to do what Mayweather and Andre Ward and Joe Calzaghe have done. But they took every fight seriously. That's why they went undefeated. And Wilder has to do the same. You know, the last Fury fight, he didn't look that great because he was over anxious. He's a better fighter now. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen February 22nd, but we will see a better Deontay Wilder than we've seen in the first Fury fight, you know. So every fight is a must win, you know, and the more he wins and, you know, the closer he gets to 50 wins, which will be a milestone. I don't know if he's going to have a new fight. Maybe, you know, we have to wait and see. But, you know, the fight I want is the Joshua fight. You know, that's the fight that's really going to put him on the next level because it would be one of the biggest heavyweight fights in history, man. It's a huge fight. So, you know, let Deontay take one fight at a time, keep winning in dramatic fashion, as long as he wins. But we all know Wilder's vaunted right hand. More than likely, he's going to win by knockout. You know, so keep the knockouts coming. And we here to support you, man. Take one fight at a time, though. Like the great Sugar Ray Leonard always said, never look past an opponent. Take one fight at a time and then go to the next one.
And if we think about it and look at it, imagine, right? He's 42-0 right now. So he needs 8 fights to get to 50-0, right? If he had 3 fights this year and he became one of those fights is against Joshua for undisputed, that's going to put that's going to shed a lot of light on him because then he'll be 45-0 and undisputed. So he's 6 fights away from breaking Floyd Mayweather's record, and he would be 4 fights away from tying Rocky Marciano as a heavyweight, undefeated heavyweight. And to do so as undisputed was Rocky Marciano undisputed ever?
Yeah, from 52 to 56, he was champion for 4 years.
All right, so
undisputed.
So let's say, you know, he's going to have, I'm sure, a rematch with Anthony Joshua. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, he beats Fury, he beats Dillian Whyte, and then he beats Anthony Joshua. I'm sure Anthony Joshua is going to look for an immediate rematch in 2021. Let's just say it all plays out that way in 2020. And 2021, he have another fight with Anthony Joshua. I think he's a bad style matchup with Anthony Joshua anyway. And the rematch, he'll beat him even easier than he does the first time. So at that point in time, he would have beaten Joshua twice. He'd be 1-1. He'll be 1-0-1 against Tyson Fury. And I'm sure Tyson Fury eventually pushed for a trilogy fight. You know, so let's say that's 4 or 5. What's that? 3, 4, 5 fights. He's already 42-0. So let's say he has those 5 fights. And let's not forget, and one of those fights is undisputed. So and those are legit wins for him. And then let's not forget, at some point in time, he's going to have a mandatory, which is looking like it could be Adam Kalnaki, right? So now we're talking 6 fights, right? Because Adam Kalnaki, they're trying to push him up that WBC ladder with Deontay Wilder. So he gets the Adam Kalnaki fight, right? It doesn't matter. I don't care if he was 40 years old. His style is all wrong for Adam. Adam defense is his face. So, I mean, just the last thing to go.
Say the F- defense.
Right.
Okay.
You know what they say. You know what they say, Money, right? The last thing to go in the sport of boxing is your power.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Adam is going to get. And so those are 6 fights right there. If everything goes according to plan, those are 6 fights. That means he'll be 48-0, undisputed, and he would have defended his title at that point 16 times. And so he'll be undisputed, have defended his title 16 times, and is on his way to being undefeated. 2 fights away, or 1 fight away from tying Rocky Marciano. You imagine how big that fight is going to be? Whoever that 49th fight, because of the entire Rocky Marciano talk and him being undisputed, and he would have defended his title 16 times, right? Now he gets past that fight, And then that 50th fight is going to be even bigger than the 49th fight because now all the talk is going to be him and Floyd Mayweather. But he's at undisputed at 49-0 and the heavyweight division and getting ready to break Rocky Marciano's record and getting ready to tie Floyd Mayweather's record. Enormous, right? And then let's say he gets past that, and I know I'm looking far in the future. And then let's say he gets past that. Now he's 50-0, undisputed, and would have defended his title, 18 times at that time? So now he's going into his 19th title defense. Undisputed, undefeated. That fight is going to garner him to make $100 million at the least. At 100, and he's at that time he's gonna be breaking Floyd Mayweather's records already, because he's just a heavyweight, and he's doing something. Floyd Mayweather did it as a welterweight. I mean, listen, he stands to put himself in a conversation with the greatest of the greats. He stands to put himself in a conversation with the Muhammad Ali's and with the Joe Lewis's and with the greatest of the greats. When you mention him in the sport of boxing, if all goes according to this, not like my brother Kurt said, one fight at a time. But I'm just looking in the future, and I'm just saying, imagine if that was the case. That would be absolutely enormous. But I want to talk to y'all about Terence Bud Crawford and him coming out yesterday, addressing the reports that he's been, avoiding Showtime Sean Porter. And he said he never ran, never will. I never ran, never ducked anybody, a single soul in my life. I always go to the action. I never ran away from it. But, he continues to let the world know, anybody listen, that Sean Porter is not in his immediate plans. Is not in his plans in no time soon. But Errol Spence is just not available. Manny Pacquiao, if that fight was going to be made, it should have been made already. If it wasn't made when they was under the same umbrella and the same banner with the same promoter, I don't see it being made now. And I can't see Danny Garcia fight because Bob Arum made it clear he don't want to negotiate with Danny Garcia. It's not worth it. And anyway, Danny Garcia is fighting Ivan Redback January 25th, and it looked like him and Errol Spence could be on the collision course for Errol Spence's first fight back, as they were supposed to fight January 25th. So who does that leave for Terence Crawford? What direction do you go in? Because it's not going to bode well for Terence Crawford to fight Jose Ramirez or Regis Prograis, or I don't even know who else they have over there for him to fight. I think that the perfect fight for Terence Crawford is not going to be Sean Porter, is to be a fight with your Danis Ugas.
Bingo. I was thinking the same thing, man. That is the one. He's a southpaw killer. He has a solid chin. He has good power, and he has excellent timing with that straight right hand. I'd love to see Terence Crawford in there with Ugas. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you.
Yep, I think that's the route. What you think, Ms. Boston?
Okay, so yeah, I guess I think differently about this subject.
No, that's all good.
Okay, well, first of all, with Porter, and it's my understanding that both of them have made the comments about the buddies, the friends, or whatever. It wasn't just Terence Crawford. That's the first thing. Will it be a good fight? Absolutely. I do believe that nobody really called for this fight until he fought Errol Spence, which I don't really agree with. And Errol Spence did have some problems with him, and I think because of that, people say, well, shoot, Errol Spence has some problems. Well, let's see how Terence Crawford does. And I don't think that's really how boxing is supposed to go. As far as Ugas, how come none of these other PBC people fought Ugas? But you know what I'm saying? So we're calling for Terence Crawford to fight Ugas, but They're not mixing it up with the other PBC fighters. Okay. Now I know PBC has the stable and all that kind of stuff. But to me, when I really look at it, the PBC has not made as many fights as they could have. Like I'm like, why did Errol fight Mikey Garcia instead of Danny Garcia? That's like the biggest question I have, and nobody can answer it. It just seems like it's so many other fights. It seems like the only one that's fighting everybody over there is Sean Porter, and that's it. And I know they say that Bud hasn't fought anybody, but what, Bud's been in the welterweight division a year and a half, 2 years at the most, not even 2 years. But all these other guys have been in there that long, and it just seems like they just haven't mixed it up, I think, the way that they should. No, I'm not no big old Bud fan or anything like that. I'm not, because I don't do fan stuff. The only fan I am of a boxer is Deontay Wilder, period. That's all it is. But I don't think it's just Bud. I don't think Bud is afraid. I don't think Spence is afraid. I don't think any of those guys are afraid. Any of them. I think it's just money, it's politics, it's timing. But all the junk talking that Terence Crawford is doing is not helping, because you can talk all the junk you want to, but if ain't nothing gonna happen, if ain't no fight's gonna come out of it, then you just need to shut the hell up. That's how I feel about it. So that's how I feel about it. But I know I have a different outlook on it, but it is what it is.
But this is what I'm gonna say about that, about the friend thing, because when I interviewed Sean Porter, it was me that interviewed him, and when I asked him about him fighting Terence Crawford, I think people get it confused of his standpoint of it compared to Terence Crawford's standpoint. So when I asked Sean Porter about it, Sean Porter said that I'll fight Terence Crawford when he's the last piece to the puzzle. He never said I wouldn't fight him because we're friends. He said, I'm going to wait until he's the last piece of the puzzle. I already know we got to come to, I knew from the moment we met, I knew from the moment I watched him compete that me and him was going to meet at some point in time. But because of our friendship, I'm going to leave him to the last piece of the puzzle. So he never said that he wasn't going to fight Terence Crawford because of their friendship. He just said he wanted to fight everybody else before he got to Terence Crawford. And obviously he said that he knew they was going to have to meet at some point in time. He just wanted it to be the last piece of the puzzle. Now, in the flip side of that, Terence Crawford saying, I'm not going to be forced to fight Sean Porter. Nobody's going to force me to fight him. And if we do fight, it'll be because me and Sean Porter sit in the room. No promoters, no managers, no team, nobody else. We sit in the room and we come up and say that this is the best case scenario for both of us. And then he goes on and does an interview with DAZN and he says, I'm not interested in fighting Sean Porter. But the flip side of that is Sean Porter is at a point. Terence Crawford is now that last piece to the puzzle. He's at that point. Why? Because he's already faced Errol Spence. He's already faced Keith Thurman. He's already faced Danny Garcia. Win, lose, or draw. He's already accomplished those accomplishments. And so now it's Manny Pacquiao or Terence Crawford. And Manny Pacquiao has made it abundantly clear he's going nowhere near Sean Porter. So that leaves Terence Crawford. So now Sean Porter is there. There's the last piece to the puzzle. That's the last name on the resume outside of Manny Pacquiao for him to get it done. And now Sean, and the flip side of that is, another side of that coin is Terence Crawford don't have the options. They have the options. And as far as them fighting each other, they fought each other. Danny Garcia fought Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. And he's on his way to fighting Errol Spence. Errol Spence fought Sean Porter, then he's on his way to fighting Danny Garcia, and he's been chasing Keith Thurman forever. Keith Thurman has fought Sean Porter and Danny Garcia and Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao resume speaks for itself. So at this point in time, we got to look at it from the standpoint of Bud. He's left out. And you can't, and so as Yordenis Ugas, I'm gonna tell you what happened with the Danny Garcia, Yordenis Ugas situation, Miss Boxing. Errol Spence was supposed to fight. Errol Spence was supposed to fight Yordenis Ugas, and Sean Porter had already defeated Danny Garcia. They didn't want to go into immediate rematch. Yordenis Ugas was the mandatory for Errol Spence, and so what they did was Mikey Garcia kept pushing the envelope. Mikey Garcia didn't want to fight Danny Garcia, so it was going to look like this: Danny Garcia versus Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence versus Yordenis Ugas, Sean Porter versus I'm forgetting how I'm confused myself. But Yordenis Ugas ended up not fighting Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia didn't want to fight Danny Garcia. He wanted to fight Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia pushed for the Errol Spence fight. Sean Porter then was awarded the Yordenis Ugas was in the ranking system for the WBC, which Sean Porter had. So Sean Porter said, listen, I'll go ahead and satisfy the mandatory for both of us, me and Errol Spence. And so that way me and Errol Spence could fight for unification. So Sean Porter ended up fighting Yordenis Ugas and beating Yordenis Ugas, whether people think he won or not. He fought him and beat him, and then he went to fight Errol Spence for unification. So Danny Garcia was pushing at that time. Remember, Danny Garcia had just came off a loss to Sean Porter, right? He had his title opportunity at that point. So now they wanted to give Yordenis Ugas the opportunity, a chance at the title. So now Danny Garcia wanted to stay in the ranking system with the WBC. So he didn't fight Errol Spence, which was the IBF. So now Errol Spence went, Mikey Garcia didn't care where he was. He just wanted to prove his point at the 147 pound. And he wanted to prove it against what was considered the best in Errol Spence. So he moved up those one weight class, because people don't let people tell everybody this agenda that Mikey Garcia moved up 2 weight classes to make it sound good. No, he moved up 1 weight class. He fought 3 out of his last 5 fights was at 140, not 135. So he fought 140 against Adrian Broner. He fought 140 against I forgot. He fought 3 out of his last 4 or 5 fights was at 140. So he moved up 1 weight class and he fought Errol Spence. That's how we got the Errol Spence Mikey Garcia fight. Errol Spence, contrary to popular belief, and I'm going to tell the people, he did not want to fight Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia kept pushing Errol Spence for the fight. And then Al Heyman eventually said, hey, Errol, he's real about this. This could be a backyard fight for you in Cowboy Stadium. He has a huge fan base there. There's a huge Mexican fan base there. What you think? And it could be a homecoming fight, a big fight in the real stadium. So Errol said, let's make it happen. Danny Garcia didn't want to step out of the WBC ranking system and lose his opportunity because he felt he beat Keith Thurman and he felt he beat Sean Porter. So he wanted, that's the fight he wanted. He wanted to get that WBC belt back. So he didn't want to leave the ranking system and go the route of Errol Spence. That's why you didn't see that. So this is how Yordenis Ugas got to the point of fighting Sean Porter. This is how the point Errol Spence got to the fight and fighting Mikey Garcia and Sean Porter, and so on and so on, et cetera, et cetera. The thing is this: Terence Crawford doesn't have the options on that side, right? So, you know, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Ms. Boxing, or anything. I'm just giving you of how.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain to you how we got to where we got. You know, so this is how, you know, all of this unfolded, and this is how we got to where we got. And the thing is, so then now and so that left Danny Garcia kind of on the outside, right? And so then Danny Garcia went and he beat Granados, and then you know, we know his spat with Terence Crawford. Then he was offered. Bob Arum came out. Now he was available. Bob Arum came out and stated that he wasn't worth negotiating for a fight for. He says that he didn't want to negotiate. The only person he wanted to do business with Al Heyman and the PBC was for Errol Spence, nobody else, because they wasn't worth it. So they went on and offered him $3 million or whatever. And he felt he was worth more than that to fight Terence Crawford. Now, I know people going to come out and say, well, he took this amount to fight this guy, and he took this amount to fight that guy. You don't know what he took behind the scenes. And just for the people that have that they like to say that, oh, he only made $1 million. Well, we know that allegedly PBC and Al Haymon was taken to court by Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya for overpaying fighters. So they're getting paid something that you don't see. So with that said, with whatever money he took for whatever fight, he felt he was worth more than that. Then they came out and offered Amir Khan $7 million, who Danny Garcia knocked out, which is utterly ridiculous, right? So you felt Amir Khan was worth it, but you didn't feel like Danny Garcia was worth it. His 2 losses on his resume to Sean Porter were close. That was a close fight, and I thought the fight with Keith Thurman was a little further than close. I thought Keith Thurman clearly won the fight, but it still was a tough fight for Keith Thurman. These are the 2 losses on his resume. Amir Khan has been knocked out. He's been knocked out by guys like Brettis Prescott. So there's no possible way. Amir Khan has a mystery fan base. I don't know where this comes from. This mystery fan base for Amir Khan that just people just continue to pretend that Amir Khan has this huge fan base. He does not. Somebody point me in the direction of this enormous size fan base that Amir Khan has. He don't have it. It's not that big. It's overinflated. So so I just feel like that's the breakdown. So I just wanted to give y'all a quick breakdown of that. But that's all you had on it, Miss Boxing?
I guess I have a question for you. So if he does fight Ugas, if he does fight Porter, what will that do for him? What will that do for us? What will that do for the division?
Those are, for me and for us, those are legit fights at the welterweight division. That as for instance, Ugas, I would favor Ugas to beat everybody Terence Crawford just beat at welterweight. I favor him to beat Jose Benavidez. I favor him to beat Jeff Horn. I
agree.
Khan, and I favor him to beat Amin Machine. So that would be the best fight he's had at the welterweight division. And so will Sean Porter, hands down. It's not even close. Sean Porter, in my opinion, has the best resume in boxing.
He does. But is that going to get us closer to undisputed? Or are we just wasting our time, to be honest?
I don't know if it gets us closer to undisputed, but it gets us closer to unification bouts. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pacquiao's, it should be easy. It should be easy to get. To me, it seems like if he fights Ugas, if he fights Porter this year, there should be no reason. And if he gets by both of them, the next fight should be undisputed. Undisputed should be set up already. There should. You understand what I'm saying? There should be no reason why he fights those 2 and can't. And there's still 2 other fighters that have belts.
Well, that undisputed would be a long way away because Manny Pacquiao is only sticking around for Floyd Mayweather fight. That's it. And just happened so he got that WBA belt. And he ain't gonna fight Errol Spence, and he ain't gonna fight Terence. So and we just gotta hope at some point he gets the Floyd Mayweather fight or vacates the WBA. Because I just can't see Manny Pacquiao fighting Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. That's not gonna happen. So
okay. I can go with that.
I think we could get unification with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, but disputed, that's not gonna happen. I don't see it happen. So I think that the Ugas fight. See, because at this point in time, it's about credibility now, and now you got to fight dudes that's credible. We already saw you fight Jeff Horn. We saw you fight Amir Khan. We saw you fight Mean Machine. We saw you fight. Now you got to say Sean Porter. His losses, the loss to Errol Spence, the knockdown in the 11th round, proving to be the difference in the fight, in my opinion. Some people might have a bigger margin separating the 2, but I thought the knockdown was the difference in the fight with Errol Spence and Sean Porter. And then the Keith Thurman fight, 1 round separated them. Danny Garcia, he won. Kell Brook could have went either way as well. You know what I mean? So his losses could have went either which way. Now, loss is a loss. But his losses could have went either which way. Sean Porter could very well be undefeated. He could very well be undefeated. The Errol Spence
I agree.
Right? That fight might have ended in a draw. The Errol Spence Sean Porter fight. The Keith Thurman fight, 1 round separated the difference. And the Kell Brook fight, I thought could have went in his favor as well. Because Kell Brook, a lot of excessive holding in that fight. He was just holding like, dude, what are we doing here? You know, but that's just what you think, Kurt?
Well, Crawford, doesn't have many options. We all know that. That's the obvious. You guys will be an outstanding fight. Porter even better. But he says, that's his friend, so he might not get that fight. Other than that, if they can try to drag up Ramirez and Paul Graves up to 147 to fight Crawford, he doesn't have many opponents, man. So, they got to get to work, man. I don't feel confident about these fights getting made. It'd be a shame for Crawford's legacy or lack thereof, man. So he has to fight a named fighter. Preferably, I think the Ugas fight can get made. I think Crawford watches him, but, it's a name at least. It's a name, We'll see how good Crawford would be against elite opponents, I don't know if the Spence fight's going to happen, but, Bob got to make something happen, man, with Terence Crawford. We got an outstanding fighter who basically is fighting nobodies, man. We don't want to see it. After the Mean Machine fight, we say, hey, you got to step it up, man. So if they can't make those fights with you guys in Porter, they're going to get Ramirez and Prograis. That's my prediction. Porter, and even in the loss, Porter got a lot of credit. I don't believe in more victories, man, but he gave Spence work. He was making Spence look silly with his footwork at times, and I was surprised, But, in a perfect world, Crawford will fight Porter. That'd be an outstanding fight for Crawford to put on his resume, because, even though they fighting each other in the welterweight division, you're not going to see undisputed. You're just not. You'll see unifications, like you said. And there's been some good fights in the welterweight division. They all fought each other. We just want Crawford to crash a party and throw his hat in the ring. Other than that, he doesn't have anywhere to go. He's like a man stuck on an island.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kurt. Money, what you think about it?
I feel kind of bad for Crawford, based on the situation that he's in. He's not promoted enough. He's not marketed enough like Teofimo Lopez. I was stating that the other day. A few other people felt like, because he has these big numbers. I'm like, yeah, he can have big numbers, but when you think about it, Teofimo Lopez's name is much bigger. All right, but to stay on topic, I think he needs to go to what Mitch Boxing said earlier. What would Ugas do for the fans? Okay, if you have, Crawford to come in, and let's say he takes Ugas apart, okay? This is someone that I thought probably defeated Porter, That's just me personally, okay? But just looking at it, saying, okay, he comes in there and he takes Ugas apart, his bargaining chip just goes through the roof for me. That's just me speaking. This is my personal opinion, all right? If he comes in there and he takes care of business like that, he can really step off into PBC in a way that he probably wouldn't have in reference to an option right now. Danny Garcia would be a good option for him, even though that Danny doesn't hold a title. But if he was to take, Danny Garcia apart, these are some of the, like tests for him to get to what he actually wants in order to unify, I think that's a good route for him. I don't think it's going to be that easy for him, because of Bob Arum, me personally, because of Bob Arum. So I think Ugas is probably the more viable option for him to step off over into PBC, the waters of PBC, defeat Ugas, and then his options will open up from there. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I think it puts him in a position where there's definitely no way for anybody to say that they can't do business and they can't negotiate. Right. I mean, they're already doing business with Wilder and Fury, but this is seriously puts them in a position where they can't say anything other than, they have to negotiate with it, and it's a legit test. It's a legit fight, and another thing is, I saw we consider Terence Crawford the pound for pound best fighter in the world. The pound for pound best fighter in the world. No, I've heard people say, well, how come they didn't make Terence Crawford an offer? Well, according to everybody, and according to boxing pundits, and according to the boxing public in the world, Terence Crawford is the pound for pound fighter in the world. I've never seen nobody offer Floyd Mayweather anything. He makes the offers. So if your name is not Manny Pacquiao at this point in time, right? See, that's a catch-22, because now it's an admission. Either he's not what you consider him to be the best boxer in the world, because the best boxer in the world, you can't make him an offer. He makes you the offer. So if he's that, then he makes the offer. And if you're offering guys low numbers, right? So here's the thing. I've seen people say, well, why didn't Danny Garcia make him an offer? Why would Danny Garcia be in a position to make Terence Crawford any type of offer? He can't make Terence Crawford an offer. Terence Crawford makes him the offer. And another thing is, if that's as well, we have to say, why didn't Terence Crawford grab the bull by the horns and say, listen, let's come. I want this fight with Danny Garcia. What kind of common medium do we have to get? Because another thing is, we forget is this has been an ongoing saga, and since they was at lower weight classes, when they was at 140, when Bud was at 135 and coming up to 140 and things of that nature. They was going back and forth via social media for quite some time, talking about what they did in the Olympics. I think they split in the Olympics, right? So this is not something new. So at this point in time, Terence Crawford, see, this is what I want to explain to people, right? If this saga has been going on with Danny Garcia, and Bob Arum is saying he's not worth it now, well, he was worth it when him and Terence Crawford were going back and forth, because he was still unified at that time. He was the unified 140-pound champion. So why not, give him an offer? Why not grab the bull by the horns and say, let's give him. I'm not saying Terence Crawford have to give him Danny Garcia exactly what he wants, but you say, what numbers are you looking for? It's clear that Danny Garcia said that he would have took $7 million that they gave Amir Khan. So if you gave Amir Khan $7 million, then why not get Terence Crawford $7 million? I mean, Danny Garcia $7 million, right? Another thing is, people fail to mention this. When it was Floyd Mayweather, here's the thing I want to ask people, and everybody, I want to ask you guys as well. When you fight Terence Crawford, he's the best pound for pound fighter in the world, right? We all agree that he's considered the pound for pound best fighter in the world, right? So when you fight, when you fight the pound for pound best fighter in the world, you should get life-changing money. When you fight the best pound for pound fighter in the world, I've never seen anybody fight Manny Pacquiao and get peanuts. I've never seen anybody fight Floyd Mayweather and get peanuts. I've never seen nobody fight Deontay Wilder and get peanuts. I've never seen nobody fight Anthony Joshua and get peanuts. Right? I've never seen anybody fight Sugar Ray Leonard and these guys and get absolute peanuts when they was at the height of their career. I'm not talking about as they was making their way up the ladder. I'm talking about when they got to the height of their career. Terence Crawford is the oldest out of the bunch. Terence Crawford is at the height of his career. So yeah, when Terence Crawford fight these guys, because it's a high risk for them, because he's considered the pound for pound best fighter in the world. So it is a high risk for them. So they are supposed to get the life-changing money. So people that come out here and they agree and say that it's okay for Danny Garcia to only receive a small amount of money are clearly showing who they are. Because life-changing money, when you get life-changing money when you fight the pound for pound best fighters in the world. That's a fact. So why is it that Danny Garcia is supposed to take whatever he's supposed to take? Like we have to be honest in it. So either we admitting that he's not the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and he's not in that position, he's not sitting in that seat, or he is. It's which one is it? When you fight Oscar De La Hoya, you got life-changing money. You didn't fight Oscar De La Hoya for no chump change because of who he was. You don't fight Canelo Alvarez right now for chump change. They change your life. When you get those jackpots, when you get those, you hit the jackpot when you fight one of them. Ping, ling, 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 ling. You get all the coins when you fight them. When you fight, everybody want to fight Canelo Alvarez. We always say this, but we fail to mention it when it comes to the situation with Terence Crawford. So it's a mission. Is Errol Spence in the driver's seat or is Terence Crawford in the driver's seat? We got to make a choice. Because when you fight, people want to fight Canelo Alvarez because it's life-changing money. People want to fight Floyd Mayweather because it's life-changing money and it's a legacy fight. People want to fight Manny Pacquiao because it's life-changing money and it's a legacy fight. People want to fight Anthony Joshua because it's a life-changing money and it's a legacy fight. As we saw with Andy Ruiz. As we just saw with Luis Ortiz getting nearly $8 million. So when you fight these guys, then you're supposed to get life-changing money. But for whatever reason, when we talk about Terence Crawford, we mention Terence Crawford, it's okay for the opponents to be lowballed in the situation. No, we can't do that. Danny Garcia, when Danny Garcia was unified, and he was at the height of his career at the 40-pound division, he was the golden goose in the division. So when you fought Danny Garcia, you got your biggest paydays. So when Danny Garcia and these guys fight Terence Crawford, shouldn't they get their biggest payday? I'm going to let you guys go ahead and cook on that. Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, Bob Arum doesn't have confidence in Terence Crawford for whatever reason. Terence should be a much bigger star or have a much higher profile. Bob Arum stagnated his career. Now, Terence Crawford is to blame for that, too, because, if he would have signed with PBC, all this would be different. He has more respect than Khan than he did his own fight in Crawford because he gave Khan all that money and he don't want to pay nobody else because he took a loss. So now he's going to make it hard for Terence to get opponent because he don't want to pay anybody. And it's stagnating Terence Crawford's career, man, and it's just unfulfilled. And Crawford ain't no spring chicken, man. So I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know who he's going to get. He seems like he don't care. He leaving Crawford out there to dry, and that's not good, man. And he brings a fighter from Omaha, Nebraska to fight in New York, where it could have been in Nebraska. And, all except the pages you fight against the A-level competition fighters. But, he just don't care about Crawford's career, man, because he truly believes this guy don't really have a fan base where he done sold out in Omaha, Nebraska, a healthy crowd that loves Terence Crawford, but I don't know. This is one of the most baffling cases, man, of a fighter not getting big fights to have superstar level talent. They used to say that the only person that can stop Michael Jordan is Dean Smith when he was in college, And it was true because you see what kind of player Michael Jordan turned out to be in the pros. And it's the same with Crawford, man. You know, it's Bob Arum and Terence Crawford strange reluctance to be aggressive. You know, I'll be calling people out. I'll be showing up at the fights. You know, every time PBC does a broadcast, they don't never mention Terence Crawford. They leave him out on purpose, and that's not good, man, because he's being held. It's like he's being kidnapped almost. So, you know, man, I just wish that, you know, he could fight better fighters, man. I mean, you know, we talk about this over and over again, and, you know, we could talk about it until 10 years from now, but nothing's going to change, man. Crawford is just going to be a footnote. What could have been? He's going to be a footnote for a question.
And another thing is, I continue to see people say that Terence Crawford, Errol Spence is ducking Terence Crawford. Well, last time I checked, can anybody show me a video where Terence Crawford said he made him an offer? Because I got the video when they came face to face, and Errol Spence tells him to his face, Bob ain't never called me. Bob, did you call anybody? And Bob Arum acted like he didn't know what he was talking about. So why you're saying Errol Spence is avoiding Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford never sent Errol Spence an offer. Let's make sense of this. Everybody likes to say that Errol Spence is ducking Terence Crawford. And guess what? I used to be one of those people. I was go back and look at my videos. Am I right, Money? Miss Boston, you guys know this.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was one of these people.
Right, I remember.
Yeah, I was one of these people saying, hey, Errol got, and then Errol is like, okay, well, where's the offer? Tell Bob to call Al. Bob ain't never called Al.
Yep. Never.
Where's the offer? And Errol Spence said it to Bob's face. Did you call Al? And what did Bob Arum say? He laughed. He laughed. He stood right. Errol Spence was face to face with Bob Arum and Terence Crawford.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He did. You know, it was a like a nervous laugh, really trying to play it off. Okay, yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
And so Bob Arum stood right there, and what did he say? Did Bob say, I contacted Al? What Bob said is,
no.
Bob said you need to stay away from Terence Crawford. That's what Bob Arum said. I'm lost. So how's Errol Spence avoiding Terence Crawford? Please help me with this.
He's not. Neither one are avoiding. Like I said before, it is Bob Arum that is the problem. Okay, he's been a problem in many different ways, but he has his picks and chooses. This just so happens to be one of them, which leads me into, I feel bad for Terence. Man, I just wish that, he could get away from Top Rank, but that's on him. But what I'm thinking about it, other young fighters that are coming up, like a Teofimo Lopez needs to watch this. If you're thinking that you're going to be this guy that's going to make, 10, 15, 20, $25 million, you better think again. Look at all of the top fighters that left Top Rank. Why did they leave Top Rank? The issue was money, because Bob has a net worth that is like beyond imagination for a reason. It's not about paying you some 25, 30, $40 million a fight. Name me one that he really actually did. All of them left. Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd, just so forth and so on. When they left him, their worth just went way on up. And to go back to what you just said, Blue, it's like Terence Crawford is not in a position to offer anything. He can't make an offer because he's not making enough. He doesn't have the backing from Arum. Arum doesn't believe in paying someone that kind of money, even in a pay-per-view type of event. He doesn't believe in that. You may be lucky to make $5 million, and that's on a good day. Good luck, Terence, and I wish you all the best. But until you leave top rank, you're going to be stuck, underappreciated, even though we know that you are solid in what you're doing, but you're not managed, but marketed. It's not about you. They're looking at other people beyond you. You got to wake up, take the blinders off. Good luck to you.
Yeah, and the thing is,
Hey, can I cut in right quick?
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm sorry, I gotta go pick up my brother, but I'm not even home. I'm out of town. But thank y'all for having me on. Huh?
Playing hooky.
No, I'm not playing hooky. I'm in Atlanta right now. But thank y'all for having me on. But I will definitely be back. I promise I'll be back. I promise. And shout out to the chat.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Hey, take it easy.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
All right, Ms.
Bye.
So you know, oh, go ahead, Money. Forgot you was good. You finished, Money? Okay. Go ahead, Kurt. You got anything to say about it?
No, I pretty much said what I said, but it's just a medical round, and Terence, don't speak up for himself. Reluctant. It's very strange. But like I said, Terence Crawford is the type of guy, if you don't say nothing, he'll fight anybody. But once you're trying to direct him to a fight, mum is the word. That's how he's built.
Yeah, my thing is this. Terence, like, at this point in time, how could Bob Arum be in negotiations with Al Heyman for a Fury Wilder fight? And let's not forget, this fight was already pre-made, Wilder Fury. So it wasn't much negotiations Bob Arum had to do. Let's not get that misconstrued. The fight was already the fight was set, sealed, and ready to be delivered for May 18th of 2019 when Fury pulled out and walked away from the negotiation tables. Everything was ready. They was waiting for Fury's signature, and they would have fought May 18th in an immediate rematch. Wilder Fury. So it wasn't much. When people say, well, you see Bob and he's working with them to get this fight over the hump, this fight was already a part of the deal when he signed. So it was already set in motion. It wasn't much negotiating. It wasn't no initiating for Bob Arum. Bob Arum didn't have to call Al Heyman and initiate anything. It was already pre-signed. It was already so we knew this was coming. He didn't have a choice because we already saw part one. And they did that without Bob Arum. And this was a part of Fury. Fury is not, here's the thing. And this is another thing. Tyson Fury is not going to allow anybody to direct his career any other way. He's going to go in the direction he wants to go in. When he got ready to go back into the direction of Deontay Wilder, his third fight on the deal, he going back into the Wilder fight. And this is what people need to take note of. Right? When Joshua, if it's so difficult to negotiate with the PBC and Al Heyman, right? Joshua and them complain and they can't get the deal done for Wilder. It's the fighter, not the promoter. And what I mean by that is, it's the fighter that the other promoters make it difficult to fight. Because you look at it this way. Was it so hard and because they had the one leg up in the situation, but was it so hard for them to get a deal done for Andrew Ruiz fight? PBC fighter? Twice for Eddie Hearn. But when it comes to Wilder, it's difficult. Why? Because they have all these other stipulations because it's the level of the fighter. It's the same situation when it goes to the Errol Spence fight. Right? When it's a less of a fighter, it seems so easy to get it over the finish line. Right? Errol Spence continues to say, tell Bob to call Al. He's been saying this for forever and a day. So when people just come up with this scenario, oh, he don't want to fight Bob, he's avoiding him. Huh? Terence Crawford just fought the Mean Machine, Kavaluskas. Can somebody please tell me when he called out Errol Spence when the fight was over? I must have missed that part. I must have got up and walked away. But in his post fight, at any point, did he call out Errol Spence? Did anybody hear you? Did either of you guys hear that?
Nope.
Money, did you hear it?
Nope, not at all.
Oh, they're not afraid of each other, man. They two lions, man. Earl will fight anybody. Earl is a born fighter. So is Terence, man. It's just other obstacles in the way, man. You know, nobody's ducking anybody. They just, it's the, politics of the sport that's ran his ugly head, man. You know, they just need to get out the way and make this fight happen, man. Any fight can happen, but for some odd reason, man, it's always obstacles and roadblocks, you know, and it's very frustrating. Those are the two fights that need to happen: Wilder, Joshua, and Crawford and Spence.
And let me ask you this too, Kurt and Money. If this is the case, because I see people now saying that Errol is the clear A side, so he has to make the offer to Terence Crawford, right? And the people that's saying that Errol is not is avoiding Terence Crawford, he didn't send him a contract, so that means that Errol is the clear A side, right? And if that's the case, then it's only right for Errol to get a higher percentage in the fight. It's not a 50-50 fight, right? As far as negotiations go. Then that means Errol Spence is in his right, right? He's in his right to go to the negotiation and say 60-40, right? Because if it's on him to make the if it's on Errol to make to initiate it and start the negotiations and make an offer, then that means that he's the clear A side, and that means he's in his right to say that it's a 60-40 split in his direction, right?
That's true, man. I mean, Earl is the A side because the situation is better what he accomplished. He's a unified champion. He just came off a Fight of the Year candidate. He beat Mikey Garcia, so he is the A side, you know. So he has to make Crawford an offer. 60-40 is fair to me.
Right. But we forget. So we all in agreement, right? 60-40 would be good. But everyone forgets that when Errol said, all right, I'll make the deal 60-40. And Terence Crawford said it got to be 50-50. It needs to be 50-50. Or not him per se, but everybody from his team said it's 50-50. So essentially, then that means they wasn't willing to take 60-40, right?
True.
So that means that they walked away from the negotiations.
Well, that's one thing that scares me because Terence is stubborn, man. He's going to think all roads lead to him because he's pound for pound. But, you know, I don't know if he's going to bend to 60-40, you know, because he probably like, I'm the bigger name than Earl. You know, I deserve it. I'm a 3-time weight division champion. And that right there can be a roadblock to the fight.
Yeah, that's what. And Miss Boxing, you know I ain't trying to school you. Get out of here, young lady. Never. And you supposed to be on the show every day anyway. You see her, Kurt? She told me, thanks for being on the panel. She'll definitely be back. Thanks for me schooling me. Miss Boxing. Click on Miss Boxing icon and subscribe to her channel, my peoples. Okay, Kurt, I'm sorry I cut you off.
I'm about finished what I said.
Okay. So you know, essentially now you see this is what I'm saying. People don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. Right? So now when you give them the truth, they always move the goalposts. Now we need to stop watching these guys' pockets and stop talking about money. You see how that works? You see how that works? It's always an excuse. Instead of holding your favorite fighter to it, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. And everybody knows I was the one that said, listen, that's not Terence Crawford. That's just not who he is. I went on Foreman channel and debated him about this. I went on Ticket TV channel and debated him about this. I went on a couple of other people's channel and debated them about this. Right? And so And I was in defense of Terence Crawford. And if you don't know, then you need to educate yourself. I was in defense of Terence Crawford, saying that that's just not who he is. He don't call out nobody. But it gets to a point where you have to take control of your career and your destination. You can't keep it in cruise control and letting somebody else, letting the GPS, the MapQuest, take control of the wheel and direct you in any direction. At some point in time, you have to be the one to stand up and say, listen, we going this way. And again, at the end of the fight, I was all but 100% sure that at the end of that fight, he was going to say, I want Errol Spence, so I want this guy. He said, again, I'm not calling nobody out. I'm tired of calling anybody out. You didn't call out nobody. You wasn't calling out nobody before. How did you get tired of calling people out when you wasn't calling out people before? I'm confused because I'm like, maybe I missed something, and I watched all Crawford's fights because I'm one of his hugest fans. So I watched. When is this fight? Anybody give me the link? Direct me to where he directly called out anybody, and they're avoiding him. It makes no. I'm lost because guess what? All of these other fighters. See, this is where I had to open my eyes and see where I was going because I was walking in the dark in this Terence Crawford defense, and so now I had to open my eyes and look at this situation because when I look at Errol Spence, he had no problem hunting down and chasing down Keith Thurman wherever he was. Man, hey, Kurt, could you find a place where Errol was anywhere in the vicinity of Keith Thurman and he wasn't talking about fighting Keith Thurman?
I remember that.
Right, Kurt? He made it abundantly clear he wanted Keith Thurman. There was no mistaking who he wanted, right? Even when they sat up there on the podium together, and Errol wasn't even supposed to say it. Remember, he said, I want this dude right here, but he probably gonna get injured again. Remember that?
I remember Earl saying, he told Keith Thurman, he looked right out, he said, when are we gonna fight? I was cracking up. Yeah, that was funny, but that's a duck right there. That's a clear duck. But Earl was adamant. That's why I became the Earl fan, and he went to England to fight Kell Brook. He put himself in a great situation. He was in a good one, but he put himself in a great situation by being aggressive, something that Bud don't do.
Yep. Dante Comedy said, "Are you really a Bud fan?" Yeah, absolutely. But I'm more of a realist than anything. I'm not more of a fan than I am a realist. So I know when to be a realist. I've been a fan of many sports. I'm a fan of the sport of boxing before anything. Stanley Field, salute in the super chat. Where was the sympathy when Errol couldn't get fights? He had to repeatedly call guys out and do the leg work to raise his profile. Yep. Salute to Stanley Fields in the super chat. Exactly. Right? I'm a realist before anything. I'm honest before anything. Dante Comedy. You must be new here, so go do your research before you question me. That's what I suggest to you, brother. Go do your research before you act. Don't ask me if I'm a fan of anything. You don't know what you're talking about. So go back and do your research, then come back and talk. Simple and plain. Was you here when I was having debates defending Terence Crawford? Was you here? Was you here? Was you on the Smoke City Mobcast when I was defending Terence Crawford? Go do your research, man. No, I'm a realist, and you probably a person that don't like the truth. That's why. What is there to say negative about Errol Spence? Why would I say anything negative about Errol Spence when there's nothing to say negative about Errol Spence? Errol Spence then chased down the best of the best in the division. He's chasing out best salute. He's still chasing out Manny Pacquiao that Terence Crawford wanted to fight. And if given the opportunity right now, Terence Crawford had a choice to fight anybody, he would fight Manny Pacquiao. Zaza Brown, peace and blessings, Queen. He would fight Manny Pacquiao. right? So, and that's who Errol Spence is trying to get. Errol Spence is trying to get. He got the Sean Porter fight, showed up to the Sean Porter fight, got in the ring with Sean Porter when Sean Porter won the belt, and demanded that fight. He demanded the fight with Danny Garcia. This is all before Terence Crawford even got to the welterweight division. So what are we talking about? So now all of a sudden, Terence Crawford makes his appearance in the welterweight division, and Errol Spence is just supposed to about face and go in his direction. And we're going to act like everything he did leading up to that don't count. So the best of the best in the division that he was chasing, because now everybody considered Terence Crawford the best in the welterweight division since he came there, right? And so now all of a sudden we're going to act like Errol Spence is trying to fight the best in the division, because the best in the division before Terence got there was Keith Thurman, was Sean Porter, and Manny Pacquiao. The Floyd Mayweather wasn't included. And then Danny Garcia started to make his name. So these are who Errol Spence was going after. So now all of a sudden, because Terence Crawford came in the division, and you are a fan of Terence Crawford, and you don't want to be realist, you don't want to live in reality, so you want to act like now all of a sudden Errol Spence is not fighting the best of the best. No. Remove Terence Crawford from the welterweight division. The best welterweights in the division are Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. Name me a better welterweight than that. So, like I stated, he's making lateral moves. Terence Crawford's moves are backwards. Errol Spence moves are lateral. There's nobody at the welterweight division on Terence Crawford's resume currently that could beat Sean Porter. None. Not Amir Khan, not the Mean Machine, not Jeff Horn, and definitely not and Jose Benavidez. I mean, let's be real here. Call a spade a spade. It's nothing wrong with being honest and telling the truth. So here's the thing. Yes, we consider Terence Crawford the best because of what our eyes see. But at the welterweight division, he hasn't fought in the level of competition to justify that. Yes, his overall body of work tells us that he's a great fighter. That's his overall body of work. But it's just like Kurt and is a historian, right? And money is right. So there's guys like Sugar Ray Robinson and other guys that moved up in weight. Yeah, their body of work said that they was great fighters, but they still had to prove themselves when they got to that next division. Just like right now, Alexander Usyk was undisputed at cruiserweight. Nobody considered him the best at heavyweight. Pound for pound, goodbye, man. Goodbye. So here's the thing, right? Kurt, Sugar Ray Robinson went up in weight. He lost the fight because he got tired and everything, right? When he moved up in weight. It was light heavyweight, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And right, Kurt, he had to go up there and prove himself still. Mm-hmm. Now, he already had a whole body of work behind him. He had a whole cemetery behind him. He had no more to prove at the point. He was just adding little cherries on the top, little nuances. Just cause. But nobody considered him the best in the division until he proved himself there. Am I right, Kurt, Money?
Yes.
That's correct. Robinson fought from lightweight to light heavyweight, and he was winning the fight, but, he just lost and got him. But even if you knew how great he was, he still had to win fights and prove himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like people just choose to just use they have no admission at all whatsoever, none whatsoever. They can't look in the mirror and be honest. That's amazing. It amazes me.
Well, you have some people that they have so much pride that goes against anything and everything that they stand for. So to admit that you're right and they're incorrect is a little bit too much for them to handle. Therefore, they employ deflection tactics, what we better yet known as they are suffering from the decaf syndrome.
Yep. And so Sin City said he don't see Terence Crawford getting nothing out of fighting Sean Porter. Well, there's only three. Let me ask you a question.
Whoa.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Let me ask you a question. There's only 3 champions in the welterweight division, and he's one of them. So essentially what you're saying is he should only have 2 more fights in the welterweight division and either move up to 154 or retire then, right? And if you're fighting a guy that doesn't have a title, right, then essentially what are you doing for yourself? And Sean Porter has the best resume in boxing. So if you're not fighting a Sean Porter, and let me get this straight. Last time I checked, Floyd Mayweather fought lots of guys, and all of them wasn't champions. They all wasn't champions. They weren't all champions. So just because Sean Porter's not a champion, Terence Crawford don't gain anything by fighting Sean Porter? Man, Kurt, he don't get nothing out of fighting Sean Porter, Kurt?
You get a lot out of fighting Sean Porter, man. It was
yeah,
especially if he beats him more convincingly than Errol Spence. You know, the scales were tipped in his favor again. You know, so he said that that's not really true. He would get a lot out of fighting Sean Porter, a lot.
Okay. Well said, Kurt. You know, okay, if you go in there and you take Sean Porter apart, who in all of his losses were extremely close. Split decision. Okay, there was a unanimous decision loss, but it was razor thin. I mean, it was like one round that could have flipped that whole fight with Keith Thurman. You know, which shows that Sean Porter is very consistent in his performance when it comes fight night. He's on top of his game, and you better be on top of yours and some. So he's going to get a lot out of defeating. You know, if Terence Crawford were to defeat Sean Porter, especially handed, where it was like it's just uncut, no type of drama or anything about it. He does that. I'm sorry, I have to agree with both of you guys. The scales tip in Terence Crawford's favor without question, very easily. He has the leverage going in there against when it comes to fighting Spence Jr.
Yep. And another thing is, they would have he could go into a fight and be able to, like you said, Money. If he goes into the fight with Sean Porter and beats him even more convincingly than anybody else did, including Errol Spence, they have a common opponent in common. So
that's right.
It's a barometer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it counts. That really means something. Right. You know, so it's like, you know,
it's a legacy fight.
Oh, big time, man. I mean, here it is. You have Sean Porter and Spence Jr., you know, Errol Spence Jr., that made fight of the year, in my opinion. You know, I mean, without question. I mean, it was action from start to finish. You know, and when have you ever seen Sean Porter really in a dull fight? And even though he lost to Kell Brook, that was not an easy win for Kell Brook. Kell had to work every round in order to be able to pull out a win.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't easy walk away from him. No, never. So, you know, I'm just like, no, if you dominate, you know, this guy, be it Showtime himself, you dominate him, you're the man. You are. That, you know, until you two meet up, whoever dominates, you know, shows that, okay, they have the upper hand. So,
right.
Yeah, that fight means everything. Sean Porter has a ton of value. That's why he is where he is right now.
Yep. I mean, that's just I can't understand it, man. See, that's what I always say. We are fans of the sport of boxing, not a fan of a boxer. It's two different things. See, my thing is this. You graduate from boxers. The sport don't change. Just the pieces in the game change.
Right.
Game didn't change. So I was a Larry Holmes fan. I was a Sugar Ray Leonard fan. I was a Juan Manuel Marquez fan. I was a Floyd Mayweather fan. I was a Roy Jones Jr. fan. I was a Bernard Hopkins fan. These are fighters that I was a fan of. I was a Riddick Bowe fan. Where are they now? I'm still a fan of the sport of boxing because they eventually going to graduate. It's like being a fan of college football. You could be a fan of the quarterback. He's going to eventually graduate, and a new quarterback going to come in and replace him. The game didn't change. Just the pieces in the game changed. And people need to realize that. They need to realize that. You're supposed to be a fan of the sport of boxing. And so my stance is always going to be to call it down the middle because I want to bring them together. I want to see Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. But if you don't hold you don't hold your favorite fighter accountable to make the fight happen, then you ain't a fan of the sport of boxing. It's two different things. Am I wrong, Kurt?
No, not at all. Not at all. Everyone fighter is above the sport.
Right.
That's right.
You know, like, so I want to see Terence Crawford. I was on the campaign for Terence Crawford, and then when it got to the point where I'm like, hey, man, this dude is not going to grab the bull by the horn. And like Kurt said, and like Money said, they ain't afraid of each other at all, by no means. It's just that nobody want to budge and forcing the fight to take place. And so we got to hold everybody accountable. So that's what you don't see. You don't see people hold, because when it's their favorite fighter, they ain't going to say nothing negative about them. No. They're not going to get to the point where they say, well, yeah, you didn't do this. Hey, man, I love my wife more than anything. Right? But if my wife do something wrong, I'm going to tell her she did something wrong. I ain't going to sit there and look at her and agree with her because she's my wife and I love her. I'm going to be honest with her. I'm going to tell her, listen, you shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did that. Because I love her. Because I love her, I tell her the truth. Me and my wife be driving, I'll be like, yo, you can't drive. Switch spots. She might be like, oh, how you going to tell me I can't drive? Because you can't. Now switch spots. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference, man. That's just me, man. Hey, you guys got anything left to close out? Go ahead, Money.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, we're still waiting on word to see when my son is actually going to get back into the ring again. There was a date of January 25th. Still no word as of yet. Still waiting. The goalpost keeps moving, but I'll let you guys know when. But hey, the you know, this upcoming fight with Wilder and Fury, man, I cannot wait to see this fight. Just like you all. Yeah, that's really the fight that's on my mind, along with let's see, Jason Rosario and Julian Williams as well later this month.
So Money, he might fight on the Garcia undercard?
Yes, he just might. Not for sure. Up there in Brooklyn, your way, man. I'll let you know.
I'm there. Yeah. Oh, that's a great thing, man.
Yeah.
And Money, let everybody know where they can follow him, where they can follow you.
Yeah. My channel is MP4 Vids. As you see the name under there, the icon. You can follow my son. His name is Money Powell IV. He's on Facebook. His name is Silver, just like gold, you know, Silver Powell. You can find him there. Money Powell the Fourth on Instagram. You can follow him there as well if you'd like to.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Kurt. Close us out, Kurt.
It's been a great live stream. You know, good to have people like Money Powell on the panel. You know, we support your son in the LBBC. You know, look,
Thank you all so much.
You know, Blue always gave us a great show. Me, I'm just glad to be here. My name is Curtis Anderson, aka Kurt Sugar. You know, hey man, I'm happy. You know, we can talk boxing. And next time, peace.
Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow us on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDEC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all we got for y'all. Peace.
Peace.